Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This summer I've used the most sunscreen than I've probably ever used in my life. I've tried a lot of different sunscreens from a lot of different brands. I tried a really large variety of sunscreens and I kind of just wanted to go through each of them and give you all mini little reviews. Before we get started, I want to make it very clear that I am just a consumer when it comes to sunscreens. I am not knowledgeable. If I see a sunscreen that I want to try out and it has an SPF of 30 or higher, that's all I need to know. I don't really know the difference between mineral sunscreens or chemical sunscreens, so I am really just coming at you with reviews based on pretty much whether I liked this as a sunscreen or not. I am going to start out with face sunscreens, and more specifically starting out with sunscreens that I view as kind of more makeup-y sunscreens, or like ones that I would wear as a base for makeup for extra skin protection. The first one I'm going to talk about is the Saie Sun Visor Broad Spectrum 35. Love this sunscreen. I think it is gorgeous on the skin. I wear it by itself all the time, but underneath makeup it is also amazing, beautiful. It's really nice and glowy. It's not sparkly at all. It works really well with my skin tone as well, so I really appreciate that. It's just so beautiful, a beautiful veil over the skin, and you get that extra skin protection. The next one is the Coola Do Good Illuminating Serum Probiotic Sunscreen SPF 30. This one is very similar to the Saie sunscreen as it gives me a really beautiful glowy base. However, I feel like people with more fair skin would probably enjoy how this looked on them more. This one's a little bit too brightening for me at the moment. Definitely when I lose some of my tan, and more so in the wintertime, this is going to look gorgeous. I really was enjoying the sunscreen before I spent a good bit of time in the sun, but now I'm not reaching for it so much just because of how it looks on my skin. It's just a little bit too light for me at the moment. That's why the Saie one is just working a little bit better. But I really enjoy this sunscreen, highly recommend it, and it just looks gorgeous on the skin. It feels really nice on the skin, and I do like it with and without makeup. The newest SPF to my collection is the Milani SPF BFF SPF 30 Primer. I'm shocked by how amazing this SPF primer is from Milani. It's relatively inexpensive as well. I think it's like $12 or something along those lines. It works as an amazing base for makeup. I don't find it to be overly greasy. It's really not even greasy at all. I kind of feel like it even makes my skin look a little bit smoother considering I have oily skin. Sometimes that oil will accentuate texture, but this one kind of smooths that out a little bit and does not add like an excess amount of oil or grease, and it feels so nice. It also is not scented, which is a huge plus. So this is an amazing SPF. I really recommend it. A newer SPF in my collection is the COSRX SPF 50 Vitamin E Vitalizing Sunscreen. Really enjoyed this one as well. I was wearing this pretty much daily for a little while. It goes on very nicely. I don't find that it leaves a white cast, which obviously I really enjoy. It's a little bit thicker, which I don't mind either because it definitely makes me feel like I'm getting a little bit more protection that way. Obviously, like I said in the beginning, I'm not very knowledgeable, but if something feels like it's putting in the work, I'm happy with it. I definitely really like this one. It was gifted to me, but I feel like I could see myself repurchasing this when I go through my tube. Next I have the Murad Oil and Pore Control Mattifier Broad Spectrum SPF 45. I wanted to like this a lot. I had another Murad SPF that I really enjoyed. I'm sure it is somewhere in my collection, but it had a very silicone-y texture and it just went on so beautifully. It was completely clear, which I really enjoyed, and it was very mattifying, not in like a way where it dried my skin out, but just the appearance of it was very mattifying. I was hoping it would be really similar to the other Murad SPF that I had, and it just really wasn't, and this pilled a lot, which kind of sucks. It's also not totally clear. It does sheer out quite a bit and ends up, you know, being pretty translucent, so I guess you don't need to worry about it leaving so much of a white cast. But yeah, this pilled so much on me and I obviously do not enjoy that. Love cocokind products hate this sunscreen. This is the Cocokind Daily SPF Broad Spectrum SPF 32. I really don't use sunscreens that leave a white cast because why would I have that in my collection? I don't need that kind of energy. But yeah, the Cocokind SPF, not good, not in my opinion. I'm sure that there are people who like it. I really don't enjoy this SPF because it gives me such a white cast. It's almost like it leaves a little bit of like a blue tint to my skin because of how much of a white cast it leaves. And it just feels very greasy on my skin. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't ever like kind of dry down. I do not enjoy this SPF from Cocokind. I do continue to use SPFs that I don't enjoy still, like whether that's on my hands or like if I am just going to be in my backyard, I will grab the Cocokind SPF because who cares if I have a white cast in my backyard. But yeah, like if I'm gonna pull this out on a day where I'm gonna be outside around other people, no, I'm not grabbing this one. This is the Everyday Humans Resting Beach Face SPF 30 sunscreen. I really enjoy this sunscreen. I will absolutely repurchase this when it is over. I really enjoy that it is in a pump as well. It's also a really great base for makeup if you do wear makeup, but honestly I feel like, you know, this is for every day. Like this sunscreen is for every day. It is very thin, which I really enjoy. It goes on kind of serum-y, kind of like a really lightweight moisturizer. So I love that about this sunscreen. Would highly recommend it to anyone. And yeah, it says 0 white cast, glow finish, layers well. I agree. It's amazing. I really want to try the new Everyday Humans lip balm, their SPF lip balm. I would love to get more SPF lip balms in my collection. Right now I feel like the only one that I have is the Jack Black one, and I think that's like SPF 25. I know Cocokind recently came out with an SPF lip balm and it's tinted. I would pick that up. I would try it. Even though I don't like the sunscreen, I still would try the lip SPF. Next, I'm going to move on to my sprayable face sunscreens. I really like sprayable face sunscreens because usually I'm wearing makeup and I know that you're supposed to reapply sunscreen. I rarely do that unless I am in direct sun for a very long time. The sprayable sunscreens make it really easy for me to reapply sunscreen to my face even if I have makeup on. Technically, I feel like you are supposed to rub these SPFs into your skin. I feel like something is better than nothing, and I am not touching my full face of makeup, but yeah, I'm just gonna give you my opinions real quick on these sprayable sunscreens. The first one I'm going to talk about is the Neutrogena Ultra Sheer Face Mist SPF 55. This one's pretty good. I wouldn't say that this is like a great one if you're wearing makeup. It's not a great one, but it is very decent. The SPF for it is pretty high. It is a little heavy, but you know, it is a sprayable sunscreen. It's not going to be super duper lightweight. This one is fine. It's also pretty affordable. I think that this is a great sunscreen to kind of just carry around in your bag. It does say it's a face mist. I would be very comfortable spraying this on my chest or my shoulders just to get a little bit of sun protection if I'm out and this is the only thing that I have. Very comfortable doing that. But yeah, this one is pretty decent. I don't really have complaints about this one. The next one is the Pacifica Set and Protect Matte Sheer Setting Mist. This has an SPF of 45. I do prefer the Neutrogena one over the Pacifica one, but the Pacifica one is also just kind of fine. It's quite a bit more heavy feeling on the skin and oily feeling compared to the Neutrogena one. That's why I'm kind of leaning toward enjoying the Neutrogena one just a bit more. But this one is fine, and you know, I will eventually go through this and probably not repurchase it, but I would consider repurchasing the Neutrogena one. The last two sprayable sunscreens I have are specifically for makeup. So this is the Coola Makeup Setting Sunscreen Spray SPF 30. This one is a really great one if you are actually wearing like a full face of makeup. This one feels like a makeup setting spray, so it's very, very lightweight. It does not feel like you are putting like oil onto your skin. It's honestly very refreshing, which I really enjoy about it. This one though kind of burns. Like, it must have a really high amount of alcohol in it. It actually doesn't have the ingredient list on here. But yeah, this one has a little bit of like a stinging feeling, which I don't mind. If you get it in your eyes, good luck. But yeah, I don't mind about the stinging feeling. It doesn't bother me too much. But yeah, this one is like actually very good in combination with actual makeup. The last sprayable sunscreen I have is the Kate Somerville Makeup Setting Spray SPF 50. This one I wish I liked more than I do. However, I definitely will use this up. I will continue using it. Don't really have a real problem with it. It's a bit heavier feeling than the Coola one. Even though it isn't an aerosol, I kind of felt like it would be very lightweight, but it does kind of feel a little bit heavy. Really avoid touching your skin like several hours after you apply this though, because it will pill, and that's a little annoying. It feels like a little drying too on the skin. It kind of feels like you have a thin veil of like dry oil. I feel like that's a good description for this SPF. Not my favorite, but it's fine. I will eventually use it up. This summer I did finish up my Everyday Humans Oh My Bod SPF 50 body sunscreen. I really loved this. I 100% see myself repurchasing this. This also left no white cast. It felt really nice on the skin. It was very easy to blend out. It left my skin feeling really nice and dewy. So yes, really recommend this sunscreen, 10 out of 10. This is the Salt and Stone SPF 30. Now, like, what I don't understand is how this sunscreen could feel so heavy and leave a bit of a white cast, whereas this one has a higher SPF, but it leaves no white cast and it feels very lightweight. Someone please do explain to me in the comments how that works. Like, maybe these are just different types of sunscreens. Oh, this one has zinc and this one does not. What is that supposed to mean? I'm gonna take a guess that zinc is a mineral and this is a chemical. I'm just gonna take a guess and you let me know if I'm right in the comments. But yeah, I don't not like this sunscreen. Like, it is fine because it does blend into the skin okay and it does feel nice on the skin, but it is thicker and it definitely does leave a bit of a white cast and it just does have a little bit less of an SPF. So it's not my favorite. I probably won't repurchase it, but I will end up eventually going through this tube and that'll be that. Lastly, I have two sunscreen oils, like two sunscreen body oils, which I picked up this summer. I was very excited to check these out because I love a body oil. And if I could put a little SPF in it, like, that's golden. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the Kopari Sun Shield Body Glow SPF 50. This, I enjoy the fact that it's in a pump. I think that that's very convenient. This is very greasy, very slippery. If you are wearing actual clothes with this, maybe decide not to. This is for beach and pool only when you are barely wearing anything on your body, because if you get some of this like on your clothes, it's gonna be a problem and it's just so messy. It is, like, it does have a bit of a glow to it, like shimmer throughout it. I didn't really notice it too much just because it is already a body oil, so it's gonna be glowy anyway. But yeah, this one just like didn't have a period where I felt like it was kind of sinking into the skin. It just kind of sat there being oily and being greasy. I kind of wish I got like a travel size of this one and not this huge bottle of it. But again, eventually I'll work my way through it and that'll be that. But yeah, this one's not like my favorite. It's just really greasy. Your hair will start like sticking to it, and that's just when it gets like really uncomfortable and too much. We'll end this video on a high note though. This is the Supergoop Glow Oil SPF 50. Really enjoyed this product. I do believe that whoever was on the team for designing this product didn't actually really get out there and use it, because it is impossible to like spray this all over your body without your hand cramping. Like, this is such an uncomfortable spray, especially when you're dealing with an oil, because like I would spray this on my arm, blend it out, my hand would be so greasy that I could barely like get this down. The spray on this would be so much better and make way more sense if it was like a cleaning product spray, you know, with the little handle that you can pull back to release the spray. But this body oil is gorgeous on the skin. It has a high SPF 50. It really does feel like your skin absorbs it, which is also very nice, and it just leaves a really beautiful, beautiful glow. I almost forgot about this Trader Joe's sunscreen. This is the Trader Joe's spray sunscreen SPF 50. This one is the cheaper one of the two that Trader Joe's sells, so that's why I picked this one up. But this I went through so quick. I almost forgot about it because it was already in my empties bin. I already finished this entire bottle. I would absolutely purchase the sunscreen again if I was not needing it for actual daily use, because this sunscreen barely lasts me 2 weeks. I was through the bottle in like less than 2 weeks. I was so shocked. But it goes on completely clear, which is very nice. It's in, you know, a sprayable can, so it's very easy to apply, and it was a very enjoyable sunscreen to use, but I just used it up way too fast. These were just the quick mini reviews of all the sunscreens that I used this summer. I really hope that you found it helpful. If you have any questions about any of the sunscreens that I talked about in today's video, go ahead and leave your questions down below. Also, if you are very knowledgeable on SPF and sunscreens, go ahead and leave a explain to me like I'm 5 comment. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed. If you aren't already subscribed, definitely go ahead and do so, and hopefully I will see you next time.